too close to the edge?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
You got a soul that's awake while you sleep.
This is the path Jane Doe came up.
She was hurt, scared. She was running from something.
Wanna run one of your hunches by me? I used to be pretty good at it, remember?
And you got a soul that's asleep while you wake.
There's no animal tracks near the top of the trail. Whatever she was running from, she was running for a while. People come here to explore, see maybe 10% of the park.
We have close to 1 million acres of wilderness.
Things happen different out here.
Was this girl part of your group?
The sky is really talking tonight.
What's it saying?
Their bodies will fall like the stars.
Do these mean anything to you?
Keep evil spirits away.
Evil spirits.
Evil anything.
45 caliber? Execution style.
I think the killings are connected. If you're in this somehow, I'm gonna find out.
You have to stop beating yourself to death with memories.
I have to tell you something. It may change everything.
So welcome back to the SWAU's official channel. I'm Bryan, your host, and this is a conversation with the stars, and what a star we've got for you. She is currently starring in Netflix Untamed with Bana. It's a wonderful Ezra Franky. Ezra, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bryan. Thanks for having me.
Oh, do you know what? It's a complete honor, and I bet you're so pleased the show is out now. What is the buzz like between, the fans and your friends? I mean, are you finally pleased it's been released?
100%, yeah. It's been received really, really well so far, which is so great to see. And there's just so much relief in being able to finally talk about it. I think there's like a year of anticipation of like knowing that it is going to happen and knowing that I'll love it, but not knowing, like not being able to chat about it or be super like transparent about the process or anything, which is nice.
I bet it's quite horrible because obviously this is a limited series, so we get a start, middle and an end, and you play quite an important role in this show, but it's got to be quite hard to keep the storyline and what goes on to yourself. I mean, how strict was it when you signed up for this role that you had to keep stum, as they say?
Yeah, it was very under locks, like very under. There was no chit chat between. I don't know. A lot of the crew didn't even know kind of the plot of the show or my involvement in the show. They just kind of knew that I was important and I was injured.
But you're here, which is great. And after watching it, it's really nice to be speaking to you. So first of all, for people out there that live under the rocks that may not have seen this great show, if you could give us a rundown in your own words, a bit about what this show is about.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those who haven't seen it, it's a murder mystery. It explores it's a very like character focused show. So it explores Eric Bana's character, Lily Santiago's character, Sam Neill's character. There's a lot of characters that get very in depth with their storyline and their history and everything. And they investigate a brutal death that happens in Yosemite National Park. And then Eric plays a ranger that goes on the investigation and kind of tracks down this mystery, and it kind of unfolds as you go along.
And I want to just do a quick disclaimer that this doesn't normally happen in Yosemite Park, because I've always dreamed about coming over the pond and visiting these national parks, but this is obviously a story. It's not based on real events. It's not, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay. Thank goodness. The trip is still on. So what drew you to the role of Lucy? When you saw the description for the character, what did Lucy have that you thought, do you know what, I need to have this role?
Lucy is such a compelling character and her storyline, as it unfolds, you just learn so much about her, like the depth of her as a person and her resilience as a character. I think is my favorite piece of her story. Just the way that she was raised and raised herself. Like she really has no family. She doesn't have a lot of people to rely on. So she really relies on the park. And there's this really beautiful relationship between her and the wilderness that just feels really, really unique. And I was like, yeah, that seems like something I got to do.
And this role is very emotionally charged, to say the least. How did you prepare emotionally and mentally? Because as an actor like yourself, it must take its toll on you being in that headspace, especially the character of Lucy. So how do you sort of mentally and emotionally prepare for these scenes?
It relies a lot on the environment that you're in. And the cast and the crew that I was working with made it such a safe environment. I think that's a huge, huge part of it, is that you have to feel safe enough to act with, I don't know, some sort of vulnerability, and you have to be able to put yourself in that scenario mentally, and then have it be, a safe and warm environment to explore that properly. And I think just really, really finding compassion for Lucy and for all of the backstory that would have built her up to the moments that I was like currently portraying, I think was really necessary to just really know her.
I mean, we do see in the show, a bit of her backstory, but we don't see all of it. This is why I would love to see Lucy come back for another show and explore the backstory of her character. I presume that you had a backstory on paper, but did you create one in your own mind to try and get into the character a bit more?
Absolutely. Yeah, you really have to create a relationship with their history that sometimes it's, given right on the table for you to, pull from. But also you really have to just do so much exploration and inner exploration. You have to find yourself in the character, which I think was a really fun process, but also she's having a hard time, obviously, in the show.
It's very hard when you're playing a character like this for, a bit of Ezra to sort of spill into that character. Did you find the character relatable? And were there parts of you that we saw on screen that we may not have known?
Oh, absolutely. I think that that's so necessary for any acting job. You have to find yourself in the character. And I think Lucy's resilience as a person, like I admire her so much. And like, I think that I learned so much from her storyline, and the way that she was written was really done with integrity and compassion, and like you can just see that in the writing. And it was just honestly just a privilege to be able to portray that, and for them to trust me to portray such a beautiful character.
And what a way to introduce your character in episode 1. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but wow. That's all I'm going to say. What an introduction for a character in a show. I mean, the scenery alone. I mean, did you actually film in Yosemite Park? And what was that like with all that wilderness around you?
All of the show was entirely filmed in Canada. So it was filmed on the west coast of Canada, in Vancouver and Vancouver surrounding area. And there is definitely footage from Yosemite that was taken, but all of the stuff that I was a part of was filmed in Canada. And it was so, so lovely, like such a huge privilege to be able to shoot on location. I think that is a part of filmmaking that is kind of coveted these days. Like a lot of it's made in studio, which has its own, perks and benefits, but to be able to be in the trees, I think made it a lot easier too to connect with the character and just really feel at home in the environment. I think was really, really necessary for me and so many other characters too.
I mean, part of the lovely scenery comes the wildlife, and we do see a bit in the show. When you were shooting, did you come across any wildlife? Because I know I was interviewing some people for a Canadian show called SkyMed, and they said that they had a special dog that they had to be with them in case there were bears. I mean, did you encounter any wildlife while you was there, or were they all staying away?
There was honestly constantly animals. There's a surprising amount of animals that we were working with while shooting that were, casted and they were in the series. We worked with a lot of horses and there was a lot of odd animals, but there was always a bear team on set with us. Always people making sure that we didn't see any unnecessary animals, because as much as, everybody wants to get the full British Columbia experience, it's not going to make for an easy day on set, a bear coming through camp. So
that is crazy.
Yeah.
For someone from the UK, literally the most dangerous thing we've got here is a hedgehog. And if you don't know what that is, it's a tiny little creature with spines that just hide. So we're very, very lucky here. I mean, were there any scenes that really challenged you, that you look back and think from a performer's point of view, do you know what, I'm really proud of that scene, because you had quite a few. So was there any specific one that maybe you can talk about?
Yeah, I think that the scene where Lucy's character is going up the mountain and kind of being chased towards the cliff, or, there's not to give anything away to people who haven't seen it, but where she's really up on the mountain ridge, incredibly injured. And that was, I think, very exciting to see on camera, because I found that in the moment while shooting it, I was so lost in the process that you kind of tune out everything around and just get really honed in on the experience. And I think seeing it on camera I got to experience it a second time for the first time, because I feel like coming from the actual experience, I was just so blinded by, for one, the character and being lost in the character, but also, I don't know, the experience was just so unique that I was lost in the whirlwind of excitement, I think.
I mean, there are certain scenes when you are, I mean, again, if you don't want to talk about this, I can always cut it out. But I've always wondered, there are scenes when you're laying there and you're not moving that much. How challenging are those scenes? I've always wondered, is that really hard to do, or is it really easy? Is that an easy day on set?
It's a bit of both. I think that in the scenes that you're referencing, a spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen the show, but the morgue scene is what you're referencing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I spent so much.
Oh, I think oh, sorry. You know what? Just as you were going to talk then about the morgue scene, it was like the powers above were going, no, don't do it. And your internet literally froze. So you were just about to say.
Yeah, I think that it's difficult to do, but it's also, I think it's more emotionally weird because you're kind of existential, because you're playing somebody dead, and then I was my mortality, and you gotta get I don't know, there's different elements that aren't just strictly acting, but overall it was not the hardest day I had on set by any means.
You see, I would be terrible at that, because when there's a situation when it's very serious, I get the giggles.
Yes,
and when literally people are trying to be serious, and that you've got to be very serious, I just end up laughing. I really do. But you know what? This series, #1 on Netflix here in the UK, #1 literally worldwide. What do you think is the secret sauce of this show? Why do you think it's doing so well?
The passion, 100% the passion behind the production and the creators. There was never a moment on set where I didn't recognize how much everybody wanted to make this and love it and do it from a place of having a story to tell and like caring about the characters in the story. It was always like between Mark and Elle, the creators and showrunners, and then between Eric, they were always on the same page. Everybody always knew that the story that they wanted to tell was happening. And yeah, it was just really, really passionate and beautiful to see. And I'm not surprised that all of their hard work it just comes to the surface, right? If you put in that much love, it's going to come back to you.
Definitely, definitely. And when you decided that you wanted to take this path as a career, did you have a plan in place? Because not only are you number one, on Netflix, but it's not every day that you get your face on Times Square. So it's a picture there that Lily shared. I mean, how surreal is that to have your face plastered across Times Square?
It was crazy. Seriously. Yeah, it was such a dream come true, I feel like. And I was like, do I fly to New York? Is this something should I see this in person? Like, it really feels like something that I didn't even know how to properly drink it all in, but I'm really glad that Lily and Lauren were there to be there in person and just see it. And I don't know if it's still up anymore, but I know it was up for a little while. And just knowing that was, it made it very, very real.
But now you've got your proof. Now you've got that picture. You literally, even if it's not on there now, you've been on Times Square, which is awesome, because it's one thing. I don't know if they still do it in Times Square. There's like a little sort of screen that you can go and get your photograph taken. And if you're lucky, your face will just like appear for like 1 second. I don't know if I don't know if they still do that, but this is way cooler. I mean, to have something in a Netflix show on Times Square. I mean, it must be, fun. I mean, I've seen so many comments from cast and crew that's worked on this show. What was it like offset, like off camera? Because this show is quite intense. There's lots of twists and turns. And I've got to tell you a quick funny story, though. So I watched this. I binged it all. And then I had to go to work. And then I was thinking to myself, right, I've got to come up with these questions for Ezra. But I felt that this show didn't really finish properly. I don't know why. And what I realised, I hadn't watched the last 20 minutes of the final episode. And I looked on Netflix and I thought, I haven't finished it. And then it ticked all the boxes, which is really funny. So I nearly came into this interview like literally not even knowing what the end was. So off camera, like behind the scenes, what was the environment like? Because I've got some pictures here of you with that's Nelson. I know Nelson. I've had him on the show a couple of times. Yeah, and Vanessa, his wife. Yeah, I mean, what was that like? I mean, this is some of the cast and crew. What was the atmosphere like behind camera?
It was wonderful. It was honestly it was very comfortable. It was welcoming. Everybody was friendly. It did not feel like I was kind of skating around anything in order to. Yeah, it was honestly, I could not have asked for a better experience. It was very warm. This is Sarah. She's so lovely.
Sorry, let me just put that back up. She does a great performance as well.
Yeah, she does. Oh, there's actually such a beautiful moment I'd love to share that happened with Sarah. So the very first day that we were ever on set together, we were both in our trailers prepping for the scenes and, getting changed into costume. And conveniently at the same time, we both decided to take a moment outside because we were on location, set up in the trees. So I went and sat on a rock and I was reading my book and Sarah was sitting outside her trailer. And we just kind of saw each other from across the kind of trailer camp. And we both had this moment of recognizing like a parent and a child. Like it was such a necessary moment in our character prep. And then, you know, we got to meet and say hi, and then it was beautiful. But I think like before saying anything, seeing each other from a distance was like so beautiful, something we both really treasured and then took into the performance. And yeah, we've talked about it after, and we were like, how perfect was that first meeting? Like it was so beautiful.
Oh, it's a lovely story. I mean, she does an amazing performance. And did you keep anything from set by any chance? Did you keep the yellow dress that you wear? Did you keep that?
I do
Did
have
you
the
take
yellow
that home?
dress.
Do you really?
I do have the yellow dress. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Do they know, or was it gifted?
Yes. Yeah, it was I got in contact with the costume people after, and yeah, they were able to give me one of the yellow dresses, which was, I felt so lucky. I was like, that's such a big piece of her and the character and the story. It's beautiful.
And then you've got here, please say he's a nice person off screen, because Wilson, he plays a great character in this show. You know,
he's a great bad guy.
Yeah, and he does that. And he does the role extremely well. And then, of course, you know, we can't forget to mention the wonderful Eric Bana, which I've got to say, I've followed his career so many decades. What is he like to work with and meet and be around? Because, I mean, that picture just says it all. It just seems genuinely nice. Is he, or is he a bit of a diva?
No, he is genuinely so nice. He was so professional, so welcoming, and yeah, he was always very involved. He was obviously an executive producer on the series as well, and yeah, he was great. I have no negatives about Eric in any capacity.
He was brilliant in the show. And Sam Neill, I mean, everyone needs to binge it now. They need to go on to Netflix and watch this show. I'm sure it's going to be number one for a long time to come. And who knows, maybe they might explore Lucy's story a bit more. There are so many questions that I've got literally about Lucy that I've been left with, even though I have now finished the show, that I would love to find out about a journey before that. But I suppose that just shows how good the writing is on this show, that it makes you have that afterthought and that feeling about the characters. And the way you portrayed her was stunning. It really is. But let's talk about something else that you're stunning at, which is music, Ezra. So, you have got an album out. I've got a picture here. And not only are we seeing you on screen, we can hear you in our ears. And I've got to say, I've literally connected with this music. I want to say it's hypnotic. And I don't know if that's what you want to hear, because obviously every artist has got, a style that they want to portray. I mean, how would you describe your music to the viewers?
I really, really love telling stories. I think that's like always my main goal in writing music and sharing music, is to tell a story and maybe put into words something that maybe a listener hasn't had the ability to, or had the calling to, or whatever, and maybe it resonates in some specific manner. But it's definitely storytelling music, I think, is how I would describe it.
And has music always been a passion for you? Was it music first and then acting, or acting first, or both at the same time?
I think music was something I explored as a kid. I feel like that's tricky to do as in the acting world, without some decent support to help you out there. Music is something that I have always made and always performed. I was in a lot of choirs, and I did some musical theater, and then I started writing music as a young teenager, and started producing it as I got older. And yeah, it's definitely like a big piece of my heart.
As I said a moment ago, I find it quite calming and quite sort of, I want to say hypnotic, because literally you listen to it and you just drift away. And I think that's down to the writing and the music itself. I mean, what goes into the writing of these songs? Because I've got my favorites. The Kalani one I quite like, the Ode to lovely, really. I actually relate to that quite a lot, and it's connected to my dad, which is really weird. Which I can tell you off camera because it's really weird. I don't want to go into it on camera, but it's a lovely song, really is. So how does the process of writing the song happen? Is it the music first, then the writing, or is it the writing then the music?
It's always a feeling. It's always a feeling that I'm speaking to and trying to tell some type of story about. I think I enjoy putting the story together, but also I find that I can't really do that without the music. Like the one cannot happen without the other.
And then you've got so many songs on your LP. I know it's probably going to be difficult to ask which one, but is there one that is personally the most special to you, and why?
I think that they're all special to me. I think they're all such a specific piece of me and such a specific piece of like my history or my story, like growing up. I think my favorite might be Old Man of the Woods. That's always one that I've really loved, which is why I made it the first track on the record. And it's one that I would love to record and do a larger produced version of in the future.
And which one is your favorite to perform live? Because if anyone goes on YouTube and put your name in, you see some awesome performances by yourself. Have you got a favorite one that you love just performing live?
I really love performing Ode to Killarney live. That is one that is always an audience favorite, and I never expect it to be. I'm not sure what it is that draws people to that piece, but people enjoy it, and so then I obviously love playing it.
Which is awesome. Awesome. I mean, where can audience members listen? Because I've got it just to prove I'm not lying. I've got it there on my Spotify there, follow in there. Is it Spotify or is it other places that people can listen?
It's pretty much anywhere, yeah. Spotify or Apple Music is the big one that people use to listen and like stream the music online. But also anything that you're listening on, I use a distribution service that pretty much puts it everywhere. So wherever. And
what's your dream with music? Because obviously you'll have like a dream and an aspiration for your acting side, but what's your dream for your music? Is it stadium tours? Is it working with certain people? I mean, what's your dreams down that route?
I think working with certain people. Yeah, absolutely. I think collaborating with people I admire is a huge one. And I think just writing music that people resonate with and that hopefully speaks to a piece of themselves that they maybe haven't been able to put into writing.
And you currently tour a bit as well. You do live shows. Is that planned locally, or are you planning to maybe do something a bit larger later down the line?
I'd love to do something larger. Always would love to do something, travel a little bit and meet people who are a little bit further away from home. Currently, it's all kind of around my area. Vancouver has such a good music scene, so I'm not in like a lacking environment to be in for the sake of playing live shows, but yeah.
And you'll have to come over to the UK. The UK's acoustic scene and like music scene is incredible. It really is. I mean, there's so many great bars and clubs and everything like that. But Ezra, thank you so much for coming on to the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. And it's really surreal speaking to you after watching the show and being so, sort of into the show for the 6 episodes, and then seeing you and speaking to you. It's been an absolute joy. But thank you so much for coming on and speaking to me.
Thanks for having me, Bryan. It was lovely to chat to you.